If you're someone who is expected to stay composed, make good decisions, and keep things moving even under stress, this episode is for you. Emotional regulation is often misunderstood. It's treated like a personality trait. Like some people are just better at handling their emotions, when that's not the truth. Emotional regulation isn't about temperament. It's a trainable performance skill. And when that skill is underdeveloped or overloaded, performance suffers not because of weakness, but because of capacity limits. Today, we're going to break down what emotional regulation actually is and why it matters for performance and how to strengthen it without suppressing emotion. Emotional regulation is the ability to notice emotional activation, stay present with it, and choose how you respond. It is not ignoring emotion, cowering through discomfort, or staying calm at all costs. For people who are expected to stay composed, regulation often gets confused with suppression. Suppression looks controlled, regulation looks responsive, and the difference matters. When emotions aren't regulated, they don't disappear. They increase cognitive load. That means more effort to think clearly, slower decision making, shorter emotional bandwidth. For people who are expected to stay composed, this often shows up as mental fatigue rather than emotional distress. You're still functioning, it just costs more. If you value frameworks that connect emotional skill with sustainable performance, not emotional avoidance, this channel was built for you. Here we translate internal processes into practical skills. Here's a metaphor that helps. Think of emotion like current in a river. Regulation is learning how to steer within the current. Suppression is trying to dam up the river entirely. The water doesn't stop, pressure builds. And eventually, something's gonna give. For people who are expected to stay composed, suppression often looks like professionalism, but capacity drops. Regulation starts with naming, not storytelling, not explaining, just noticing and naming. For example, I'm noticing tension. I'm feeling pressure. I'm aware of frustration. Naming creates distance without avoidance. It lowers intensity without denial. Inside Design Life Hub, emotional regulation is treated as a core capacity skill, not a soft add-on. This is where regulation practices are trained intentionally so performance doesn't depend on emotional suppression. Reaction happens fast. Response creates choice. The space between emotion and action is where regulation lives. That space can be trained. And when it is, performance becomes more consistent, not more fragile. Here's one practice to try this week. When you notice emotional activation, pause and ask, what response protects both performance and capacity right now? You're not choosing comfort, you're choosing sustainability. Emotional regulation isn't about being less emotional, it's about being more skillful. Performance doesn't improve when emotions are ignored. It improves when emotions are managed strategically. If this episode resonated, continue exploring the channel and inside Design Life Hub. This is where regulation becomes a practice skill. And if you're open to it, I want you to comment with one word that describes what emotion you most often manage at work.